Okay, we are now recording. So let's get started. It's going to be a little different because we have a lot of nominees here, but not much of anyone who's not nominated for something. So that's fine. So I'm recording this so we can upload it to the Crash Space YouTube channel. And so welcome to the 2021 Meet the Candidates event. And thank you everyone for coming. So we've got our annual meeting is happening next Saturday at 3 p.m. And we will open up the voting for members to vote for board of directors and officers starting today at 4 p.m. The email with the link to the ballot will go out in less than an hour. And then voting is open for the week up until Friday at the end of Friday, basically. And then we'll tally the votes, or Sean will tally the votes, and then we'll announce those at the annual meeting on Saturday. So that is the basic plan. So we did this last year. We held an event where we can people can sort of make their pitch for why they'd like to be whatever they're nominated for, and then people in theory can ask questions and they can be answered, and then I think it worked pretty well, and so we'll do this. Everyone can make their pitch. We'll put it up on the YouTube. Everybody can go listen, watch it and listen to it, and before they go vote or not, and just vote without being particularly informed. So there we go. So the first, I've got a printout of the ballot here. I went and just to link the ballot that Sean put together, and it randomizes the order of the. Hi, Carlin. Oh, we have somebody else. Cool. So it randomizes the order of the board member nominees. So that is the order in which it randomized is the order in which I'm going to call on people. And then we'll go through the officer positions, which has significantly fewer nominees than the board. So that's all well and good. So welcome.
Mentioning how many people were voting for on the board.
Yeah, actually, we got seven nominees for board, which may actually be the largest number we've had to date. So that's it's a good thing.
Open positions. The number of open positions is different.
There are 3 open board seats, and the outgoing board members, or the board members whose terms are ending this year, are Lisa, Luther, you, Barb, and me. So those are the 3 members whose seats are opening up. So we have 7 people nominated for those positions. Anything else that I'm forgetting to mention? No. Okay. So basically, we'll go through and give everybody an opportunity to speak about why they'd like to be on the board. And the first up on my randomized list is Josh Truett.
Excellent. I think that this is a good opportunity for everyone to vote for me for board, because I'm already at all the board meetings as the membership chair. I have a lot of experience with Crash Space, and I was one of the original members who was sitting on the floor the first day we opened. And I think I've got a good perspective of where Crash Space has been, where it's going, and it would be also convenient for the process, because since I'm already at these meetings as an officer, being a board member would allow us to reach quorum easier. I'm open to listening to all of the members and their needs, and I'm available both personally and through my various membership responsibilities as the membership chair. And I'd like to add this responsibility, which I think I would be very suitable for. That's it. Please vote Joshua Truett for board.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Josh?
You're all also voters.
That is correct.
So feel free.
Okay. The second person I will list is Aquiel.
So as you can tell, I am running for board member. I would like to pursue this position because I've been a member of Crashbase for 2 years now, and I would like to help Crashbase grow and expand. From the past couple of just like meetings, I've noticed that when new people come in, they're finding out about us through Google and just Googling what is the best, what are hacker spaces in LA, and our name comes up. So I kind of want to help more expand our presence, not necessarily online, but just like within the community, doing different events while and just putting our information out there. And I also think it would just be a good opportunity to give back to an organization that has really helped me with my creative process. So vote for Aquiel Godot.
Excellent, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Aquiel? Okay, the next person on my list is Barb.
Hi, I'm Barb. So I'm up for re-election for the board for a 3-year period. I've been on the board for a while, and I'm very interested in still continuing to help serve the organization, help support everything that we're doing. I have a lot of thoughts about what we can do going forward. I have a lot of experience with makerspaces and creative endeavors and education, which is a big part of our thing. That said, I'm also very open to new blood on the board. I'm also running for vice president, so I would be perfectly fine if somebody else wanted to take my place on the board, and if I were vice president. Yeah, it'd be definitely good for us to have some new folks come in.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Barb? Okay, next person on the list is me, Theron. Hi. So yeah, I didn't really plan anything. So, like Josh, I was there that first night while we were in the space, along with Todd and Carlin, sitting on the floor, looking at the big empty space. So I think I bring a certain amount of institutional knowledge to the way things are the way they are, or why things are the way they are. Obviously, I love Crashbase, and I'm still very heavily involved in sort of the running and the management of the space, having been on the board of directors since we transitioned to 501c3, and having currently being the chairman of the board. And I'm very committed to making it better, and committed to showing up to the meetings and actually taking part in doing the things that board members need to do. I do agree with Barb that there's definitely value in getting a new perspective and new blood into the management of the space. And we're a small organization, so sometimes we have trouble finding enough people who are interested and willing and committed to actually showing up and doing what they need to. But I think we've got a pretty good group of people right now, so I'm love to see how this proceeds, but I am very much interested in continuing to be part of that. So so I think that's that. Any questions for me? No? Okay. Next on my list is Chris Ellerby, who's not here. So we will. And then the next person on the list after that is Christine Muth, who is not here. And then last on the list is Sam Goldstein.
Hi, I'm Sam. I've been going to Crash since, shortly after it was founded through my dad, Steve, before I was allowed to actually become a member. I've never held a board or officer position before, but I would love to give back to the community and give back for everything it's done for me. Very approachable and open to new ideas, so I'd love to serve on the board.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Sam? Okay, so those are all the candidates or nominees for the board. Let's move on to the officer positions. For president, there are 2 nominees, and the incumbent to the current president is Liz. Would you like to chat about that, Liz?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, I've served as president since a little bit late last year. Before that, I was vice president. Before that, I was a board member. I've been a part of Crash Space since 2018, and I run the monthly Wearables Wednesdays as well as the weekly Tuesday meetings. Even though becoming president wasn't what I had planned, it's been a huge honor, and it's been very exciting to help run and manage Crash Space, especially over this pandemic year. It's been really weird. If I'm elected president, I'll continue to work towards keeping Crash Space what it is, which is a place where people can use tools and make cool projects. But I'd also like to improve Crash Space in some regards. I'd like to see more programming, some more classes, and I'll continue to work with the board on more inclusive initiatives like our sponsored membership program, and just getting more folks to the space who may not know what a makerspace is, because I didn't know what a makerspace was before 2018. And I'd like to see more people at Crash making cool projects and working together.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Liz? Okay. And then the challenger for vice president is Joshua Truett.
Hi, I'm Joshua Truett. I have been nominated for president, and I'm willing to run for it. If elected, I will serve in this position, assuming that I do not have other responsibilities that would interfere. However, my graceful opponent has made the classic blunder of not taking a step backwards when nominated for president. So I believe she will be elected, and I also will be throwing my vote behind Liz. That is my entire platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Josh? No. Okay. Next position is vice president. Current vice president is Barb.
That's me. This is the other position I'm up for. So I'm very, very interested and invested in making sure that we have programming happening and helping to encourage people and support them in running events. I've also been working with Sean as part of the committee for getting our sponsorship programs going and an upcoming sponsored project program. I've been part of kind of our committee for exploring the possibility of this whole firehouse thing. And I think I have a lot of experience and expertise in that arena to bring to the position in the organization. Yes. I also think that Liz is awesome.
Okay. Thank you, Barb. Any questions for Barb?
I also think Barb is awesome.
Okay. That's not really a question, but we'll accept it. The other candidate for vice president is Joshua Truett.
Hello, I'm Joshua Truett. I believe in a democratic process. You should always have a choice, and I am that choice. If elected to serve as vice president, assuming that my other duties allow, I will serve to the best of my ability. However, I believe that Barb would be the best candidate for this, and I am throwing my support behind Barb. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Josh. Any questions for Josh? No. Okay. Next position, CFO. We have one person nominated for CFO, and that is Kurt.
I actually have some things to say. The first is thank you again for the honor of nominating me. It is truly my pleasure to work with Crash, especially through this. We've through my tenure as CFO, we've been able to weather the COVID actually quite well, the COVID pandemic quite well, and we just recently started up a Crash sponsorship program where we can sponsor Crash members who are having economic difficulties, so they stay members, stay active in our community, and looking forward to actually working to expand that so that we can reach out to potentially other worthy people, so that we can give them a taste of what Crash can do for them. So that's great. And I would also like to see, we only have what is it? We have 12 people here. And I think we really need to encourage more people to get into the governance of Crash. For example, the Crash bylaws allows for not only a CFO, but a treasurer. And this is a good idea because we don't have a small amount of money. We have about $120,000 in liquid assets right now, which is about right for what we do. We also have a considerable amount of physical assets, and it is a bit of work overseeing that. And I'm ably helped by the other officers. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Theron. Thank you, Josh. By the way, you've come in and really done some good things, I think, with the membership position. But we have a treasurer, and I'd love to have a treasurer back there because, as we all know from what has happened in recent history, we never know how people are going to do, and we want to have a backup. I've worked very hard to make sure that I'm not keeping any record out of where people can get to it. So if you catch me, I'm always pushing to get things onto the Google Drive because multiple people have access to the Google Drive. So please, I'm encouraging all of you, you're active, you're here, but also talk to the other members and remind them the only way Crash Space happens is because we work for it. And if you know someone who has a financial background, you have a financial background yourself, or even an askew thing, because I'm an attorney, I don't really have a financial background, encourage them, because you don't have to be a great maker to make a real impact on Crash Space and the Crash Space community. So again, thank you. And I'd say vote for me, but it hardly matters now.
Thank you, Kurt. Does anybody have any questions for Kurt?
I have a question real quick. Kurt,
Yeah.
With the new division of donations for sponsored members, would that be something that would be the responsibility of finance or the treasurer, if we had a treasurer? To track and account for that.
Probably I would leave that for tracking to the treasurer.
Okay.
Because that's sort of more on the day-to-day following rather than working on overall sort of strategic budgeting.
Got it.
So yeah, but that's just the idea of moving information that we get currently from PayPal by email or however we're going to get it and putting it into a spreadsheet so that we can make sure how many people we can assist by how well financed that program is.
Understood. Okay. Yeah, and I also understand that it's not necessarily a financial burden that Crash Space has because we base it on donations and we're shuffling the funds around on the back end to account for things. But I was just interested in who would be doing that. So having a treasurer would be an interesting thing for the board to put together because that would perhaps ease that process and make us more reactive to those donations. So okay, thank you.
Yes, it allows a division of the of the labor. It would take the workload off of me because I'm the CFO, but also reduce a little charge that we have, reduce our hours with Sanssouci, who provides some of those services as well.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions for Kurt?
Kurt, this may be a delicate question that you don't want to answer, and you can plead the whatever. Is there anyone that you can think of that you would want us to lean on for you? Collectively, peer pressure, or it just sort of. I mean, it's tricky because maybe it's something that's better for people to self.
Yeah, Sam. I would like to lean on Sam. I just wanted that because you're in the center of my screen. I really don't, because I don't know the out of crash skill sets of a lot of our members.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
And it is, in one way it's nice because there are a lot of people who are engineering and scientific types, and it is working with numbers. In the other way, finance is not like working with numbers in science.
Speaking of the fact that every single CFO we had before you was like semi-disastrous at the job, not math skills and CFO skills, not the same. Not the same.
Yeah. And no, I mean, I can't say that they were disastrous because we're flush. I mean, I haven't added a huge amount of money. But the job isn't to add a huge amount of money. It's to, give a heads up if we're bleeding money. And everybody knows how we bleed money by not having members. So, that's it. And we gain more members by having more activities and being more inclusive to the community. So that's my pitch.
I have another question. As you are up for CFO and treasurer, I believe you're able to appoint kind of committees to help out with stuff that you currently have going on. So this is more of a statement, I guess. If there's anybody who is interested in helping out with that, if you let Kurt know, then you can probably jump on and help out with some of it before actually becoming full-on treasurer.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things is that the concept of having a CFO and a treasurer is the positions are kind of antagonistic. And while I will happily recommend somebody as treasurer, somebody who would be like my assistant wouldn't have the independence of someone who was actually appointed directly through the board or by Liz, and I couldn't fire. Not that it would happen that way. We're a small, friendly group, but that's the intention. It's money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You think about it, it's a lot of money.
But do we have somebody else up for treasurer, or is it? It's just
no, not right now.
So this is the
it's just, I'm in the profession where we kind of worry about these things. And not only am I worried that, you want checks and balances, and it's not we don't have it. Theron makes sure to keep me honest, and Liz keeps me honest. And we do have a separate accountant who basically I'm there to keep honest. And, the bookkeeping day to day is handled by Sanssouci, by Leah at Sanssouci. But that's good because the more eyes on it, the more, the less likely we're going to have a problem. It's like when you're doing a scientific experiment, you want to test it out a lot. So, okay.
Well, all excellent points, and this will go up on our YouTube channel. Members can watch it prior to voting, and even after voting. Certainly, if anyone is interested in helping out in that way, they can reach out to you, Kurt. They can contact the board at board@crashbase.org, or they can contact me directly at theron@crashbase.org. So those are all... anybody who's interested in helping run things, we're we're always challenged to find people who are actually committed to helping out in a serious way. So that is anybody who is interested, please reach out and we'll figure out how to take advantage of your offer. Okay. Thank you for the questions. The next officer position is secretary, and there is only one nominee in that category, and it is Sean, who is the current secretary.
Hello, I'm Sean. I've been part of Crash Space for a bit over 6 years now, and I've been secretary for the past term. Though it's generally a quieter background role, I've been doing the work dutifully, largely running board meetings, but also keeping our 501c3 status safe, helping get our accounts more in order. And I've also been documenting a lot of the institutional knowledge for the role to make sure it's preserved just in case a pandemic goes through or something. If reelected, I will continue this work.
I think the term is when reelected, since you're running unopposed, and you've been doing a fine job. And secretary is one position, and Kurt is usually the one that points us out. Secretary is one of the most important positions in Crash Space because it is, in the eyes of the government, sort of the representative of Crash Space. It's the one position we absolutely must have. It is responsible for filing the paperwork that keeps the government happy about our 501c3 status and our nonprofit status. So it's a very important position. Fortunately, we don't have a ton of activity, a ton of paperwork to do for it, but it is important. Next officer position is the membership chair, and only one nominee there, and it is the current membership chair, which is Joshua.
Hello, I'm Joshua Truett. I am current membership chair. I wanted to take a couple of minutes to discuss what the membership chair does, so that hopefully the position makes sense to people who are part of the voting process and who are members of Crash Space, and a little bit of information about what has happened during my year-long tenure as membership chair. The good news is membership chair has been a position that I believe done pretty well at. I've updated some of our documentation. I've put in some checklists and some procedures that hopefully myself and people who follow me will be able to use to maintain our membership lists and be able to speedily go through all the processes required. I wanted to thank Barb for organizing the membership chair onboarding document and sort of institutional knowledge document that I've been contributing somewhat to and hope to continue to contribute to. As for how I did, we started my tenure of membership chair with 74 active members, 56 regular members, and 18 keyed members out of that. And as of today, we are at 72 members. So that's 2 members less, and that's 2 members less through an additional year of pandemic, which I think is fairly good. From a financial standpoint, it could be better. 3 members were lost on the keyed level, but we're also up 1 regular member. So we do have people who are replacing these losses. We had a couple of other regular members leave, but we also had a couple of other regular members join. Prepayment of membership is a good deal for members, and we've had several people who have switched from monthly to 6-month or annual memberships. That process has been relatively easy for them to do, which is something we want to ease people through. We want to be able to have people who wish to contribute to Crash Space, either through membership or donations, have as easy a process as possible. Giving us money should be easy. And also being involved in the community should be easy. So going forward, I want people to be aware that if you have any issues that you want to contact the person who's the membership chair, even if you don't remember who that is, you can email membership-chair@crashspace.org, and that will go straight to me or whoever follows my position up. And hopefully I can be reactive to whatever situation you might have, whatever questions you might have, and hopefully going forward into the next year, we can grow Crash Space membership. I assisted with the board's initiative to create the sponsored memberships, which is something I will also be caring for sponsored members. As far as anyone, but effectively anyone but the board and Kurt should care, will effectively be just members of CrashSpace. Current plan is that they will not be members of the organization, but they will have all of the access rights and privileges and expected responsibilities, excluding the voting that we're doing today. But I want to make sure that those members also have a good experience and that they're able to use all of the assets that CrashSpace has. So hopefully my report next year will be a marked increase in membership, and we'll have lots of interesting reports about the generous donations for sponsored members, which I will add separately to these reports. Overall, I'm very hopeful that CrashSpace is going to have a good next year. I think that 2022 is going to be a year that we can really expand the services we offer members, and I think that we can grow our membership during that time. And that's all. Please let me know if you have any questions about the membership process. Joshua Truett for membership chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Any questions for Josh? Okay.
Actually, I have one. So Josh, looking forward to your next year, what efforts are you going to be looking at towards increased automation of the membership intake process and membership renewal process?
I'm going to be working with both the virtual plant, which is Todd and Carlin, who are going to hopefully give me some insights into how we can get some easy wins on automation there. We have our system transitioning from sort of standalone individual systems to hopefully a Google Doc-based system. Google Workspaces is what the business and education side is called, and it has access to a lot of plugins that you can use for essentially getting an API key to a specific spreadsheet that you can have a URL for, and then just throw automated scripted statements at that with a relatively secure environment. It's a lot more safe than the old Microsoft Word scripting, for example, and it works over the internet because all of the Google stuff is online. So hopefully we can involve some of that sort of stuff to produce both the reports that are needed for the organization to function in a more automated way, and also hopefully we'll be able to get some of the old website elements that seem to work okay right now for setting up PayPal, but have some air gapped stuff right now that has to be filled in by a human being. And we can just gradually replace all of the human actions with a report that tells the humans what was done so that we can verify that it was done correctly. And that's the current plan. It's something that I think is fairly important. It doesn't take a great deal of time, but especially with the onboarding, offboarding of new members and exiting members, it's something that should be done quickly and correctly. So that's my plan.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions for Josh? Okay, the next position is facilities chair. The only nominee for that is Steve Goldstein, who is currently facilities chair and is holding on the space well, but is not here today. So we'll skip over that. And the last position is virtual plant, and we actually have two nominees there. One is the current virtual plant chair, and that is Todd.
Hello. So yeah, I'm one of the founding members. Todd Kirk. I'm one of the founding members, along with many others here. The role of virtual plant was intended to be everything network based in the space and outside the space, sort of as a mirror of the physical plant, the stuff that like Steve does. As things have gone on, we've actually seen a lot of stuff in the last couple of years bifurcate, because we've gone to a managed access key system with OpenPath and using Google Suite instead of the shared hosted system we had for the email and stuff like that. And thanks to Josh for that. So hopefully I can maintain Josh's help over the next year or so to help continue doing the Google Suite stuff. So now currently the job of Virtual Plant is mostly keeping the website up, keeping the blog updated, keeping the domain healthy, and that's mostly it. And because it's me, sorry, the reason why it's me is because all that stuff was originally in my name on the original DreamHost account back in 2010 or whatever. So if elected, I will continue to do what I've been doing for the last decade. And Carlin often helps with the blog because she's a much better blog maintainer than me. And since she lives just a few feet away from me, it's actually quite convenient. So that's Todd Kirk and parentheses Carlin Ma for Virtual Plant Chat.
You get a 2-for-1.
2-for-1, yeah. and also Joshua for sort of on-site Virtual Plant stuff with the access points, because in the during the pandemic all the routers died, and Josh kind of parachuted in with Spec Ops replacement routers that have been working quite well, it seems.
Okay, excellent. Any questions for Todd?
I do have a very important question for Todd and also for Carlin. What is your favorite soup?
Soup?
Yes.
Like chicken soup or tomato soup? Fascinating. Ramen? I don't know. What's your favorite soup?
I think that qualifies.
Okay, any other important questions for Todd? The other nominee for Virtual Plant is Kevin Jordan, who is not here, but he is on the ballot. So that actually covers all the positions. Does anybody else have any other parting thoughts? I don't necessarily want to say anything because I don't want to necessarily be caught as campaigning one way or another for anybody, but there is value in having officers not to be on the board. In particular roles, certain roles in particular, like CFO, Kurt will talk to that. But it's also a way of getting more people involved in the management and governance of Crashbase. It's packing the board who then instruct or provide guidance to the officers of how to actually go and do the day-to-day things. So something for people to keep in mind as they're deciding who they want to vote for. We're not a particularly large organization, so having a 9-person board plus several officer positions is sometimes a little bit of a challenge to actually fill out. But at the same time, if there's people interested in helping out with the governance and also helping out with the various officer positions, getting all that input, because everybody shows up to the board meetings because they are board and officer meetings effectively, that can be a helpful thing to get more input and guidance into the way Crashbase runs. So, does anyone else have any parting thoughts?
Actually, just Theron, how many board member positions are currently up?
3.
3. Okay.
Okay. So there we go. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording now and then call our little powwow to a close.